Ask Sherwin-Williams during the 4-day super sale, April 19th through the 22nd, and get 40% off paints and stains with prices starting at $26.69. That means 40% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 40% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
When your space has the long-lasting, noticeable scent of Airwick Vibrant Scented Oils, you'll want to invite everyone over, from book club to the fantasy league, even the in-laws.
It smells amazing.
Airwick Vibrant Scented Oils are infused with 2 times more natural essential oils versus regular Airwick Scented Oils for our most authentic, nature-inspired fragrance experience. Transform your space with scents like white sage and mahogany or lavender and water lily. Now that's a breath of fresh Airwick.
In 2007, Canadian producer Marco Polo dropped Port Authority, which features some of hip-hop's greatest legends, such as Master Ace, Cool G Rap, and many more. Over the next 6 years, he continued to perfect his craft by releasing numerous albums. Now, 6 years later, Marco Polo has released the sequel for Port Authority 2 with PA2, the director's cut, which features many great artists such as Large Professor, Inspectah Deck, OC, Organized Confusion, Digga, Kweli, Priemer, and many more. Marco Polo, welcome to the library on rapstation.com.
Thank you for having me on the show.
All right, man. So I want to start with the opening track, which is Real Clock.
You are in need of deliverance from discriminative images, an unusual amount of musical carcinogens. Here's an adrenaline boost with simmering boot sentiments. I vegetate in vaginal canals. No venison. That is V for victory, a verbally indicative of why I haven't been inundated.
It's with Organized Confusion. So what, if at all, is the significance of opening with this track and featuring them? And then also, how did you get them back together?
Great question. Actually, that song wasn't even originally supposed to be organized.
Oh, wow.
But everything happens for a reason. It was supposed to be Pharaoh and another MC whose name I will not mention, who wanted a lot of money to get on a track, you know. And that's cool. People got to get, paid and take care of their business. But it was out of my range, and I'm actually very grateful that happened, because that led me to be like, what the fuck am I thinking? Like, I might as well ask Pharaoh to, reach out to Poe, and he did that. And I have an Organized Confusion track, and that's the perfect way to set off my album. And the first rap you hear is from Pharaoh. It's just everything was appropriate, and that that beat's special to me because it has the Port Authority sample in it, and it was just a great intro track. And then I got DJ Lynx, who did the scratches for people that know my music on the joint I did with Master Ace called Nostalgia. I got him back and did the outro scratches, and yeah, man, I just thought it was an appropriate way to set it off.
Drug abuse in the home. 3 BFFs already pregnant. My every move is alone. 17 and battered with thoughts of getting to put 2 in the dome. Stressed and ready to just end it. Suspended in disgrace. Hatred to send her. Her faith heavily contended. Bend it over backwards. Rend it loyalty even to extend it. Fam, like a ninja on a bench for vengeance. Man, grabbed the stash and cash and ran away. Felt she had to mash real fast and out of the grave. 2.5 days later, she'll be in the land of hate. The big city is full of dreams, but you gon' learn today. Jumped on the bus, cat low,
when creating an album like this one, I mean, just as a producer, for you, how important is lyrical content? Like, and also, was there any MCs on PA2 that you felt like weren't bringing his or her A game, and you kind of asked them to redo, or do you not? When you produce an album like that, do you feel like you don't have that, creative control over their lyrics?
I absolutely have creative control when it comes to my albums. I always do. And just to clarify for the listeners, me and my brother Shiloh from Toronto. Shiloh is like my mentor, my beat Yoda. He taught me how to make beats. He does tons of scratches on the albums and a lot of my past work. He's an MC. And we kind of sit down together and craft everything and come up with ideas. And I'm not a controlling person. Like, I'm not going to send a beat to someone and say, rap about whatever. But, I'm definitely very involved with the content. In terms of me letting you know what MCs had to redo verses because I wasn't happy, I don't think it's appropriate for me to like name that, but it definitely happened. And I'm definitely not the guy to not say something if I'm not feeling it, especially if it's for my album, because I just, I'm a perfectionist. So if I have two MCs on a posse cut and they're both killing it, and then I'm looking for a third guy and they're not, everyone has a role, you know what I'm saying? And I'm very aware of that. Just, you could be it could be Jesus rapping on the track. If I don't think he brought his A game, I'm going to let him know and build with him. But it's not me throwing commands at people. It's just building with people. And that's why it's always better to work with MCs that respect what you do, because then you're not going to have those problems, because if someone really respects your work, they're going to come to the studio and give you their best. And that's what I want to do when I'm bringing beats to other people's albums. If they're reaching out to me, they're like, they want something. They want something about my sound, and I have to deliver. And that's what it's all about. It's just making the best music possible. And a true artist will respect that and will never trip or get upset, when you're building, and you just want to make the best product. So,
when you do create, each track, do you? So does that mean you come up with the name of the track? I mean, for example, like Parental Discretion with featuring Breeze Brewing.
Listen, I was one of them shorties your mother shot about a dozen times. Till it's Lordy, you looking for trouble, you gonna find it. A lesson in child rearing. Get it, that child's rearing. Now you're hearing mom suddenly coming in loud and clear. And if your pops got it,
was that an album that you had the concept, or a song you had the concept for, you had the name for? You're like, all right, Breeze would be perfect on this, and then you went from there?
No, all for that specific track, me and Shiloh just thought that beat was appropriate for his style. I did not tell him to rap about kids and name the song that was his brilliance right there. And shouts to Breezy Bruin of the Juggernauts. I've always been a huge fan of him. And that's a perfect example. Like I said, I provide the canvas. My whole thing is I pick beats that are appropriate for people's styles, voices. It's not just random beats. So I probably sent Breezely like 3 beats, and I knew that whatever he picked, me and Shy would be more than happy if he picked them, and it would complement his style. And then he took it, and it inspired him to write Parental Discretion, and God bless him. I love that song.
For the moment, parental discretion is advised. Remember wildin' like it's a boy, it's a girl. It's the joy in your world, spark a stove, pour a glass. That gonna be over fast. Fine stress grabbing, you're forcing your blood to bacon. It be times kids having you cursing, the fun of making them. Damn, seeds make it.
I want to continue with the beat making process and the instrumental. And you have samples, you have flutes, you have snares, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. When you for example, when you do a beat for Pharaoh, I always felt the great thing about Pharaoh is that he is kind of, his voice is a beat in itself. So do you ever, for any of the tracks here, did you ever have a track you gave to an MC, he or she spit on it, and then you're like, whoa, maybe I should subtract a snare from it because their voice is the snare and stuff like that?
That does happen sometimes. It never happened with Pharaoh. A good example of that is I put an album out earlier this year with Hannibal Stacks of Gangstar Foundation called Seize the Day. And there was definitely a couple tracks on that album where he had used some older beats of mine, and when he laid down the lyrics and the verses to the beat, something just didn't feel right. And at that point, yes, I was like, it's not about him and what he did, it's about the beat. And specifically, Guns and Butter and Real Good are both songs that actually I remixed. They were not the original beats he rhymed to, but no one would ever know that until this moment in time and me telling you that, because my whole job as a producer and when I remix is, you're not supposed to know it's a remix. It's just everything's supposed to flow. And those songs, if I play the original versions of those songs, man, I don't even want to hear them now because the new versions are so right. So I definitely am always aware. If I have to change something, make the drums harder, make them more appropriate for the sample, I'm always down. It's just like I'll put that on an MC to bring his best shit. Same with me. Like if I'm slacking and there's something about my production that could be better, I'm changing it. And an MC should always tell me that. And that's the beautiful thing about actually working with people in the studio. It's just like communication.
Oh, nice. We're speaking with producer Marco Polo. He just dropped PA2, the director's cut. What I noticed about the album is that it's great from top to bottom, but there's only 2 female MCs, Rod Digga and Invincible. Was that a conscious decision not to have as many female MCs? Is that an interesting commentary you have about female MCs just not being able to bring it to the level you want to, or am I looking way too deep into this?
No, you're looking way too deep into it. Yes, I'm a fan of just good MCs, female or male. I definitely on the first record, I don't think I had any female MCs, so that was something. With this new one, with part two, I wanted to do different things. You know, I wanted to bring back some of the same guests, which I did, but I always got to change it up. You know, you can't do the same thing over and over again. And female MCs were not on the first Port Authority, so those were two people I was a fan of. Digga, I've always been a fan of. She's just forget being a female. She's just one of the best MCs. Period.
I'm on some kung fu hustle shit. Scream lady with no muzzle. You don't really wanna tussle with Brick City. We be on that bumpy knuckle shit. Or had them boys turn into some real duffel shit. Shanks and hammers, now wait for the cameras. Voice alone gangster, don't need no bandanas. Rhymes hard, but them darts even harder. Y'all talking about murders, but all I see is martyrs. One speed, go, watch me blow right past the Zenny's knock need. I ain't really beat for the small talk. You all walk that away. Baby, don't cry, Layla Hathaway. See, I don't wanna get indignant. Hollywood, the Miss Urban in a minute.
And same with Invincible from Detroit. She's amazing. And actually, you know, I think that her song on the album is a real sleeper because what she's talking about is so relevant right now in Detroit and just with all the crazy stuff that's going on over there.
It was an ordinary day, sky was stormy, very gray. Then I got a call from Mary, sounded worried, told me hurry, on my way was my response. Didn't wait for her to even try and launch into an explanation. Walked up, she was crying in her palms, sitting on the porch steps, all her belongings on the lawn. I'm like Nancy Drew, Dick Tracy, got a nasty crew, spit crazy, rhythmatic, that cinematic like Scorsese. Either adore or hate me, but I do it for the babies. And she was without a doubt mad and mourn about her house. Told me look around, more evictions, and you could try to count every house on the block.
And actually, I gotta shout out Shiloh because he really put me on to Invincible and was like, yo, you gotta check her out, man. She's amazing. And we've become super cool. And yeah, I mean, there's tons of other female MCs I would have wanted on the album, and I actually even reached out to. It just didn't happen. You know, I tried to get MC Light. I tried to ask Priemer to reach out to Lady of Rage. I reached out to Jean Grey. You know, it just schedules and things just didn't work out. But yeah, it has nothing to do with me not liking female rappers. I just like good rappers. So.
Right. When I want to go back to your kind of your beat making producing process, is for those who just don't know, or I mean, it might not just be for you, but is beat making gender specific? Like, I mean, do you go in and be like, all right, I'm doing this for a female, I'm doing this for a male, or is it just like?
Absolutely not. Yeah, no, it's never. I just make beats, man. Whatever. You know, if you listen to the beat I gave Digga, you know, that is some hard ass, you know, just boom bap production, and you know, I just think it worked. I mean, Digga she just brings that energy, so it was appropriate for her. And with Invincible, I just thought I wanted to do, you know, I just like to focus on certain strengths of MCs, and not saying that Invincible can't do hard, you know, street stuff, but she's such a good storyteller, and her lyrics are ridiculous. So with the beat I gave her, you know, it was something to complement, you know, a conceptual song, you know, and that's important for me when I do an album. It can't, like when I did Double Barrel with Torre or the Execution with Rusty Jooks, it's really one vibe. But with my Port Authority records, I like to have a bit of everything. I like to have street stuff, ignorant stuff, stories, concepts, posse cuts. Like, I just want to give you a bit of everything so you don't get bored, especially because it's so long, you know, it's 18 full songs.
I actually want to go into that. One of the tracks is the intermission with the narrator Michael Rappaport, and it kind of, you mentioned it's kind of mentioning how critics said that PA1 was too long, and then you're like, well, this is not for critics, this is for hip hop heads. Was there ever a point when you heard those critiques that you were like, oh, well, maybe my album is too long, or maybe my albums are too long, or were you just like, F that, I'm doing what I do?
No. Listen, any artist that tells you they don't care about what people say to some degree is a complete liar. I'm a human being. I'm affected by all comments, positive and negative. So, of course, I pay attention to reviews, and when people say things, does it, like, affect my process to the point where I stop doing things to please people? Absolutely not. And I am very aware of 2013, the impact of the good old interweb, and how people's attention spans are pretty much out the window, and a song that is, you know, has 18 full songs, you know, is a lot for people. You know what I'm saying? And there's still people that'll download my record illegally and keep 3 songs and put them on their iPhone and disrespect all the work I put into it, and that's just the way it goes. So yes, at the end of the day, me and Shia, we do it for us first. Absolutely, we do it for us and the heads that appreciate, albums. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're just never gonna please everybody. If you try and chase that goal, your whole life, you're gonna be a miserable son of a beep. Yeah, just have fun and make sure you're happy with the product as an artist, because when you leave this planet, I want to leave something behind that I'm proud of, that touched people in a way, and that's the goal.
I want to go to one of my favorite tracks on PA2, the director's cut, because it features one of my favorite MCs, Last Emperor.
MC.
Night falls in the age of surreal. I perfected mic wrecking at the radio fields. Upon examination, it was later revealed I was dedicated to kill like an agent from S.H.I.E.L.D. Competition is next to nil. Those left chose death or respect my skill. This is all the way live, not a test to drill. Funky fresh in the flesh is real. Twisted steel, a sex appeal. I got the will. Armed and dangerous and dressed to kill. Now can the man make it pop
6
when it's
Trill.
all-
One, can you describe this making the track and working with Last Emperor? And then, did you know right off the bat that he was going to be the guy that you wanted on that track once you made it, or did you? I mean, when you had your MCs I want to work with for this album, was he at like the top of the list?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he was at the top of my list, but I've always been a huge fan. No one's really at the top of the list. It's just a list.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've always known to do that people either like or hate about me is I find people that went missing that I was a fan of. I'm like the detective of rap. I will call people and get numbers and emails until I locate certain people that I've been a fan of. And that's another thing I want to do is, like, I think that Last Emperor was a guy that, in the late 90s, early 2000s, in the indie era, he had a lot of dope stuff, and it's just like the album never really happened. And, I was always a fan of Secret Wars and a lot of those early 12 inches. And I was like, what happened to this guy? He was so dope. So, like, I wanted to work with him. That was a beat me and Shai felt complemented his style. And we did some research. I got in touch with his manager, and it's crazy, man. I think I recorded that track like 3.5 years ago, and I literally haven't spoke to him since the studio session. He drove down from Philly to my apartment. We knocked the track out, and I haven't seen or heard from him since then. I've had minimal communication with his manager just to let him know what was going on, but he's such a mystery, and it's beautiful, man. I like, much love to Last Emperor. I'm so happy with that song, and it's crazy how many people, like, with all the, I consider having a bunch of really good names in the record, and that's a song right now that's coming up more than a lot of other songs I thought. Like, people are shouting out that joint, like, wow, you found Last Emperor, and that track is crazy, and that's what it's all about to me. Sometimes it's reminding you about people that, made a contribution and might have disappeared, and they deserve some props, and Last Emperor is one of those guys.
Yeah, no, when I saw it, I was like, wow, Last Emperor did something, I think, like 4 years ago, but, it was like really cool that, well, one, he was on the album, and two, you're totally right, the beat compliment totally what his style, and it worked out.
Shouts to Shiloh on the scratch hook, because we struggled with the hook for a long time. That was a perfect example of a song that went through a lot of DJs trying to do hooks and failed attempts, and then Shiloh finally nailed it with those scratches. So shouts to him as well.
You're flexing with the Last Emperor. The 6 real.
Half man, half mechanical.
I'm an emperor whose empire crushes the board.
You said, I read in an interview, you said in an interview, the track Guru, your tribute to gangster rapper Guru, was, quote, without sounding corny, I made this on the day Guru passed. I was definitely going through something emotional because gangster was so important to me coming up. As a beat maker, can you describe the lyric, how influential a lyricist can be to you? So someone such as Guru. I know he was a producer as well, but a lot of people know him for his lyricism. Like, so as a beat maker, how was Guru influential to you?
Man, Guru was really important. I mean, and the duo of Gang Starr is one of the most influential groups in hip-hop, period, and specifically to me coming up in my early days of discovering hip-hop, That's like the definition of a perfect rap group. It's like they complement each other, His voice complemented Preem's beats and vice versa, and man, it was just so good. Like, their albums were so put together. Like, he was. I don't think Guru really gets the props he deserves for what he contributed to hip hop, and that's another reason why that song and Kweli was inspired to do that song, was to celebrate a lot of our fallen soldiers that never really get the full props they deserve. So,
on the track, it's Talib Kweli and Priemer. Did you choose Talib Kweli, or how did that come together?
I'm gonna give you the short version. I made that beat the day Guru passed. So yes, that's what happened. I definitely had that on my mind. Kweli had used something from me, so we decided that, instead of him cutting me a check for the beat, I just asked him to do a song for me and trade, and I sent him that beat. And all I mentioned to him was that I made the beat the day Guru passed, and if it was cool with him, just whatever he decided to write about, just make sure it has something, like it's something with meaning, like heartfelt, because that's what the beat felt like to me. I didn't ask him to write a song about Guru. I just said, make sure whatever you write about, it has some sort of meaning, because this beat is really special to me. And I guess he took that information and decided to write a tribute to Guru. And man, I'm so grateful he did, because he just painted such a vivid picture with the stuff he was saying. Then, Kweli played the song for Primo. He loved it. I asked Primo to do the scratches, and, the rest is history.
So influential, unlimited, that was his reach and his potential. Rhymes gonna keep you alive, you live through universal. Love and respect, go out the Guru is the gifted. His presence was so influential, unlimited, that was his reach and his potential. Rhymes gonna keep you alive, you live through universal. Love and respect, go out the Guru. Life is just a dream and what you make of it. People never understood you and Solar's relationship, but who am I to question it? You say that's your people's. It ain't transparent for me to see through, but all I know is that you show me love when you was with us. You live for the music, your life is what you give us. Hear your style, your influence, your light, and still hit us with a right document, the fight that's still in us. I will never stop, cause whether or not the radio play us, my abilities display a soliloquy of chaos, painting a perfect picture. Trust me when I say that we miss you. I felt like getting Freddie Fox a Big Sugar.
You also described in this interview, you described that the album PA2 is a bunch of quality stuff trying to put together. It's kind of like a Dre did with Chronic, P-Rock did with Soul Survivor, and Molly Marr did with many of his early albums. Do you feel you've accomplished that with PA2? And if you do, when did you know that you did what you set out to do?
That's really for the people to decide. It's not really. I mean, I know I'm happy with the first one and the second one and all the albums I put out, but for me to sit here and say I did what Pete, Marley, and Dre did, I would like to say that I tried my best, but I kind of feel like the listeners and stuff can answer that question for you, instead of me.
If you had a 19th track available to you on the album, do you have a list? Do you have a list of MCs you would want on that album, or?
Yeah, there's tons of people. There's tons of people that I wanted on the album that there's still many people I would love to work with. There's so many. Ghostface. I would love to work with Ghostface, Raekwon. I would love to do something with Action Bronson, Kendrick Lamar. Slick Rick. There's I got a lot of work to do still.
Nice. You end PA2, the director's cut, with Glory, Finish Hard, featuring Master Ace, AG, Posdnuos, and Dion Jenkins. What's the significance of ending it with this track?
Just felt like the ending track. It just felt really melancholy and the perfect way to end, the album. And you have to, the song says finish hard. It's like start strong, organize confusion, end with 3 more legends. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it was just appropriate. It was never recorded like this will be the last song on my album. I just recorded a bunch of good material, and then me and Shai kind of pieced it all together like a puzzle.
Oh, dope. Producer Marco Polo, new album, PA2, the director's cut. Thank you so much for joining me on The Library with Tim Heinekel on rapstation.com.
Thanks for having me, brother. I really appreciate it. And to anyone listening, you can check me out online on Twitter, Marco Polo Beats, Instagram, Marco Polo Beats, Facebook, Marco Polo Beats PA. And if you're listening to this interview, you've never heard of me before, it's a beautiful thing because now you have, and you can check out some of my music.
That's when it get darker. But in my heart though, I do believe that if you put out more love than you receive, it's bound to come back around eventually. And that'll be the day when y'all mention me.
Prepare for glory. I love my life, and if it ain't a struggle, then it ain't a story. And if it ain't real, then don't record me. Carry the torch for those before me. I fall, I rise, I crawl, I fly. And either way it go, we come back better. Now we laugh forever. Life's so buried. The days that get heavy, escape into a zone. My soul take control. Fall, rise, then fall, I rise. Repeat these steps till they call my demise. Torre told me, keep flaming them, homie. A class by myself, some days that get lonely. Success got me numb, but the failure make it realer than before. What I scribble so visual, wrote it in blood. See it spilling on the floor, dancing in the rain. Throw a party when it pour, I'm raw. R-A-W, a terrorist. Here to bring trouble to the days of Cain. I ain't been the same. A permanent flat top fade on my brain. I'm high, and it's not from the weed I inhale, cause I made it and the feeling so rare. For glory, I love my life, and if it ain't a struggle, then it ain't a story. And if it ain't real, then don't record me. Carry the torch for those before me. I fall, I rise, I crawl, I fly. And either way it go, we come back better. Now we laugh forever and ever.
This ain't hood, conquer all rap. This ain't player, baller in all caps. And understand that one cop can't stop no riot. One can't make the crowd no quiet. We feast on the diet of injustice. Pride been swallowed but won't fall. A burnt down building in New York, the building that's bombed in Iraq is viewed like art on the wall through the eyes of a child whose vision is blurred. A book never read, beat a song never heard, but the word is the purpose. We can't stick together if you let life become such a non-stick surface. Learn to walk cool before we learn to walk upright. Now know the game of society's uptights who don't want to see us derailed off the negative track. Like crabs in the barrel, they want to pull you back. But life lessons got us progressing from ghetto to get to work, get to freedom. Big or small, we push through gravity's hold on it all.
Prepare for glory. I love my life, and if it ain't a struggle, then it ain't a story. And if it ain't real, then don't record me. Carry the torch for those before me. I fall, I rise, I crawl, I fly. And either way it go, we come back better. Now we laugh forever and ever.
Is it up, vision up? We picked it straight from the garden. Feel it now, feel it. Yeah, we gon' hit the target. It's the weekend. We going back where it started. It's the beginning. And we gon' finish hard. We gon' be good.
When your space has the long-lasting, noticeable scent of Airwick Vibrant Essential Mist, you'll be inviting everyone over. From barbecues to girls' night, the kids can even host their friends.
Whoa, it smells amazing.
Airwick Vibrant Essential Mist is infused with 2 times more essential oil versus regular Airwick Essential Mist for our most authentic, nature-inspired fragrance experience. Airwick Vibrant Essential Mist is perfectly portable and effortlessly easy, the way fragrance should be. Now that's a breath of fresh Airwick.